28 years later, The Bone Temple is a follow-up to last year's Legacy sequel, 28 years later. And the one key thing I think that you need to be aware of going into this is what you like in your zombie movies. Because that was one of the main complaints I remember seeing a lot last year with 28 years later, the first one. People complained that there wasn't enough zombies in it, that wasn't really, it was less of a zombie movie and more of a mother and son road 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 trip movie. And if that wasn't your vibe, oh, you're gonna hate this one because there are practically no zombies in this zombie movie. This is less of a survival nature versus mankind thing, and more of a crazy cult splatterfest. Virtually any stuff involving zombies is very much non-existent. We have, I think, 2 scenes with zombies with had them attacking people, and the rest of it is focused on this cult leader, Jimmy Crystal, and focusing on Ray Fiennes' character, Dr. Kelson, trying to essentially cure one of the infected. And this might be a bonus, it might be a plus, it might be a minus to some people, but the main character of the first movie, Spike, is basically an extra in this. He's just kind of there, doesn't really push the plot forward. It's more or less the characters around him who are far more interesting. And I didn't much care for Spike in the first movie, so I didn't mind that much. I felt like Jimmy Crystal and Kelson were much more interesting protagonists, so it didn't bother me that much. So on one hand, I did like it, and I feel like another thing that is going to be a bit of a detractor for some is that Danny Boyle is not the director of this. Instead, Nia Dacosta, most famous for her remake of Candyman, which she is a very, I would say, divisive director for some people. I love most of her filmography, but I will admit, she is someone I think she kind of struggles with under studio management. She is someone who you need to give her the proper freedom to do what she wants. She's not a studio director. She's kind of someone I think enjoys the more art house and weird stuff. And she does get to do this in this. This doesn't have quite the same underground kind of gritty documentarian feel that the first one had. It definitely doesn't have quite as much style, but it's definitely not one where the style is completely gone. This does still feel connected to it. It doesn't really feel like we're watching 2 different stories that don't mesh together. So on one hand, I think she did do a very good job with this. And honestly, this movie is going to be, I feel like, could be very divisive. But I feel like at this point, I feel like people kind of know what they're going into with this. I feel like most people who didn't like the first one, aren't really going to come back to this. And those who did like the first one, I think, are going to really enjoy this. I think it's a very, very good movie. I'm definitely excited. It definitely sets up stuff for future installments. I'm interested to see what they do with that.